Welcome to Follow-Up Letters in Alexio's short course. In this course, we're looking at the setup task for creating a follow-up letter. You place your letters here, and out of the box, Alexio provides several letters you can start working with. You would, of course, type the body of the letter. You give the letter a name. You can use the ones that are provided or create your own. Whatever you do, I do recommend that you follow some type of a naming convention. As you'll notice, I have either a number with the word letter, or down at the bottom I have the word send info about. That will really pay off when you look at someone's involvement tab. When we look at the involvement tab, we see that mailing lists and follow-up letters are presented in the same window. Having a clear distinction that something is a letter as opposed to a mailing list will help you with just general visibility on this particular screen. By default, the letters are constructed here, as you can see, body of the letter, and then you can type it out. Notice the option to use a Microsoft Word template. The lower section is about triggering your letter. You don't have to have a trigger, so if you deselect that, you don't even worry about it. If I engage a trigger, though, you can automatically send the letter, and it's related to any of these options. The most common of which is a person's status changing. So for example, when you add somebody to the database, they get their very first status. That is a status change, and that can be the trigger. So a very common letter is the first time attender letter. So you select what the condition is, and then what's it equal to. So in my case, when a person's status changes to attended one time, I want this letter to trigger. You can trigger in one of two ways. One, it happens automatically and it goes into the queue. The person would just be queued up to get the letter. Or you can have someone be prompted to confirm that they actually want to send that letter. Here's what that looks like. I'm in the people area and I added a new person to my database. And when I did that, I got this little pop-up. This is that confirmation. It is saying, hey, there is a rule that says we send the first-time attender letter to new people or people who have a status change to first-time attender. Do you want that to happen? If I say yes, that person on their involvement tab now is queued up with the process checkbox to get that letter. You'll also see it in the home area. Here's our new person, and he is queued up to get the first-time attender letter, along with several other people. One final restriction, you can have that rule apply only to certain campuses. Now, oftentimes people ask the question, well, we don't like to send paper letters, so that's not a useful feature. These triggers are not useful for me because we do not want to print letters. We would rather email. And I say that's okay, but it requires a bit of smarts on your part. What you would need to do, and it's not complex, would be to create a custom search. That custom search would be, we'll return to the people area, your custom search criteria is anyone who has the letter you're looking for, so in this case, first-time attenders. So if I wanted to send an email to all of my first-time attenders from this past weekend, I would have the search equal to the letter itself. Make sure to pay attention that the date is this past Sunday. I'll show you what that custom search would look like. I'm now in the custom search area. Here is specifically what my custom search is doing. It is searching the field called follow-up letters, and I have it saying it must match the item 00 letter first-time attenders. And, so it's a two-part criteria, follow-up letter date is dynamic as of last Sunday. We have a course on custom searches, but this is the one I'm using, and I have it called follow-up letter test. So now if I transition to the communication area, in communication, I'll select the To button, which will allow me to develop my distribution list. I simply go to custom searches, select my follow-up letter test. There's my two people. Now this does not preclude something we've talked about in a previous course on automation. There's an automated email that you can create that sends out something to first-time attenders. But what sometimes people don't like about the automation area is that you can't make that email have an attractive design. Using my method here allows you to accomplish it being automated in terms of who it's selecting based on your custom search being dynamic, and then you can apply a nice design. If you do go that path and send an email instead of actually sending the paper letter, you're going to need to clear out and tell the system, in a sense, pretend or fake the system out to say, yes, I sent those letters, so that they drop off of this queue. You drop people off of this queue by clicking Process Letters, and then you'll be asked a question on whether or not everything processed properly. So you would certainly want to say yes, and what that in effect will do on people's records is that it will deselect this button, Process, because it's already been processed. Well, that's it for our discussion of follow-up letters. Thanks for watching. This is Alexio Short.